Hi, and welcome to The Leader's Edge. I'm Emily Chiwa, and with me is Georgia Donaldson. We are leadership coaches. Yes, Georgia, I love it. We are leadership coaches on a mission to help you sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact in your organization and community. And today, guess what our topic is? Who
Mhm.
do you become under pressure? Georgia? How do you want to start with this one?
Emily, this one kind of triggers me because I know when I'm under pressure, I can be a little snappy.
Mm-hmm.
But as we're gonna be talking about it. But the key thing is to be aware of who you become when you're under pressure, because we've
Mm-hmm.
always had this false notion that that builds character. Pressure builds character, and we've always talked about what pressure does to pipe. I spoke about that recently in some interviews. What does pressure do to pipe, Emily?
Certainly burst the pipe.
Aha, there you go.
Well, we
Yeah.
know we're accustomed with that. I mean, the
Yeah.
amount of leaks on the road.
So we see it all around,
We
right?
see it all
Yeah.
around. We see
But
it
do we
all
see it in ourselves when we are
I
under
think,
pressure? Do we
and I think
recognize?
that's the point of today's discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Who do
Mm-hmm.
you become under pressure?
Yeah.
And so the awareness question is simply that same question.
Yes.
Are you aware of when you're under pressure?
Mm-hmm.
And do you see, even if after the fact?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you take a minute right now and look back, think about the last time you were under pressure and
Yes.
you had to make a quick decision or something was, happening. Curious of who were you at that time?
Mm-hmm.
What version of you were
Yes.
you being in that moment? So, and I mean, why are we talking about this? Because you know what?
Hmm.
Guess, well, another guess. Guess what? It's about to be July
Yes. This
and
is the end of the first half of the
of
year.
the year. It's about to be July. It's
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the second half of
Mm-hmm.
2026. And yeah, some of us are like shocked by that
Yes.
notion. Of course,
Yes.
a few of us might be like in World Cup fever, so we're not really aware.
And,
But I
and
don't,
after July, when World Cup is finished, then the real pressure hits.
then the reality
You
will hit
realize how many
and
things you should have done that you didn't do.
that you kind of put off a little bit.
Put off a little.
Guess what? We gotta live. But so it's always a balancing act. But for now, seriously,
Yes.
thinking about second quarter. I mean, I keep saying second quarter, second half,
Yeah.
third
Second
quarter,
half.
quarter three. I think it can put some pressure on some of us in terms of
Mm-hmm.
where are we as it relates to the full year goals.
Yes.
If you are a calendar year person, or maybe this might be a
Mm-hmm.
last quarter if
That's
your
true.
if your year end is September.
Mm-hmm.
So pressure might be building for you, and I think across the board, Georgia. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
today's dynamic, I don't know if anybody is not under pressure.
That's true, Emily. That's true.
So
Yeah,
the
'cause
next,
recently I've been talking to leaders across the region, the Caribbean region. I've been in, let's say, 3 or 4 Caribbean territories over the last several months, and the
yeah.
cry is the same. We are feeling pressured. We are under stress. And the things that they're facing to is that the lack of resources. So they don't mind sometimes being under pressure because it's important sometimes. There are different projects that you do. But when you're under pressure and you don't have the resources that you need to work under those conditions, it makes it worse. And here's what's coming again to Emily. With the summer months, lots of people are going on vacation. So those who
Mm.
are left behind have additional work to do. How do you as a leader manage when you are so stretched? So what
Well,
are
I
some of the
think,
things
and,
that we're
and
going
that's
to
what,
talk
and
about?
that's what. Sorry, what were you
Yeah.
saying?
No, no, no. I was saying, what are some of the things that we're going to tell them, to make sure that you don't crack under the pressure?
Yeah, well, as we started off saying, the first thing is recognizing, because I feel like because we are so accustomed to being under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
we don't realize. that
Yes.
we are under pressure.
Under pressure
So
or undue pressure.
it's like a constant way of being,
Mm-hmm.
meaning it's difficult to actually relax. It's difficult to feel like you could take a
Yes.
moment. It's difficult to pause.
Yes.
And so much of what we talk about in leadership coaching and programs like what we do
Mm-hmm.
all the time is that ability to pause and sort of
Yes.
collect yourself, ground yourself, and figure
Mm-hmm.
out what direction to take.
Yes.
If you feel though that you are literally under pressure, you just might not even feel that you have the chance to pause.
That's it.
So you can become very reactive as a result.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not realizing it because you think that you're doing the best you can given the
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, whether the
Yeah.
circumstances a lack of resource, something change, an external factor change,
Mm-hmm.
like what's going on in the world today with shipping and foreign
Mm-hmm.
exchange
Oh
and
yes. All the
energy
geopolitical
prices,
things as
whatever.
well.
There's so many challenges facing us generally.
Mm-hmm.
AI, whatever, cyber threats. It's like it feels like it can feel like a mountain coming at us.
Right.
So as I said, what can happen is we can become very reactive. And if
Yes.
we become reactive, that is going to be a huge challenge
Mm-hmm.
for the quality of leadership that
Yes.
we would be providing, whether it's in terms of decisions, whether it's
Decision making, definitely.
making, whether it's in terms
Mm-hmm.
of how we treat with people,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to listen and have
Mm-hmm.
empathy and sort of work things out or just push. We can just
Yes.
get into this pushing mode where we just it's almost a lack. It's not like we don't care, but it can come
Yes.
across like we don't care.
Right, right. But you mentioned that, Emily, that some for some persons now it's almost like a routine. That pressure is almost like a routine, and then it has become cultural in some organizations. So we have to look at ourselves as leaders. What is the culture I'm building in my organization as a leader? If I don't see someone who seems to be stretched all the time, does it mean that they're not working? Does it mean they're not effective? Is that person lazy? If someone leaves work at 4:30 one day, is that person, shirking their responsibility? Because it has become cultural in some organizations. So for leaders, that's one of the things we want to say to you. Become more aware of the culture that you're building in your organization with respect to work and pressure and how people feel doing the job that they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
true.
important.
So true. I mean, it reminds me of a meeting I had recently where the team was joking about everything being urgent and important.
Hmm.
And of course, everything cannot be.
If everything is urgent, nothing is urgent.
Yes, and
That's what I
and
can
but the
say.
fact is, though, sometimes we really lack the ability or the willingness
Mm-hmm.
to prioritize and have those give and takes that is
Yes.
required when we do. So what
Yes.
can give and where do we have to really put our efforts? As you say, if
Mm-hmm.
resources is an issue,
Mm-hmm.
but then how can we better allocate the
Yes.
resources to get the
Yes.
best results given what we have?
Yes.
So again, that is us making better choices
Mm-hmm.
given, what the mix,
Mm-hmm.
what we have to work with. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is something that again it comes back to the reactive nature, it comes back to the culture.
Yes. Yeah.
For some of us with culture, yeah, we want to do it all, but when
Right.
we try to do it all, something falls, and
Something falls.
yeah,
Yes. The quality goes down.
the
The quality
quality
goes
goes
down.
down. Yeah.
But here's the thing too, Emily. If we don't pause long enough to do the analysis, then we'll continue doing the same thing over and over again. And that is one of the challenges that leaders have. You don't take the time, or you feel you don't have the time to pause to do the analysis. Okay, so
Yeah,
what's happening here? Oh,
that's the
so do I need to
firefighting.
assign somebody else? What's
Hmm.
the pause? What are you doing in the pause? Do I need to change the way I'm doing this? Can I leverage AI to help me with this? So many different things can come about when we do the pause. But we're
When
not
we
we're
take
not
our
stopping.
time.
Yes, we don't feel we have that opportunity to pause.
And that is it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we don't feel we have the opportunity to pause, what
Yes,
we're doing is firefighting.
that is it.
We're
That is it.
firefighting. And
Mm-hmm.
firefighting does not make a good recipe for
Certainly
getting
not.
good, sustainable results.
Mm-hmm.
Because as
Mm-hmm.
you said, we're not being strategic. We're
No.
not taking the time to sort of step back and take the bigger view, which is
Mm-hmm.
what, as leaders, we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Making sure that we're kind of taking stock of everything and trying to figure out, where should we
Yes.
pivot and go given what is changing in
Yes.
the
Yes.
circumstances.
Yeah. It reminds me, I love to do jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And the jigsaw puzzle, when you get the pieces, without knowing what that big picture looks like, and you just have the pieces and you're going, you're trying to fit, and you have no clue what the picture looks like until you pause and, oh, let me get that box and look at the picture. And then it becomes easier to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But how often are we taking that time to pause to see the picture, that big picture?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Leaders need to take that pause a little more often.
Yep.
But
So,
they're going to say to us, that they don't feel like they have that opportunity.
no, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the catch 22 when
Mm-hmm.
we're feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
We instead of doing the things that would actually support us,
Mm-hmm.
um, and ease that pressure,
Yeah.
we react to the pressure and we create it ends up creating more pressure.
Yes,
you
yes.
know
Such a cycle.
yeah, so because if we're not taking the pause, as you quite rightly mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
um, being more strategic, then
Mm-hmm.
then the firefighting is not going to support
Yes.
the decisions that would support an improved outcome
Mm-hmm.
as we go
Yes.
forward.
Yeah.
So it just
There's a
continues to cycle. And
yes.
there's this thing, you're gonna say something, but I wanted to just say
Mhm. Go
something
ahead.
before. So there's this thing about, and it's also contagion. I think you mentioned it
Mm-hmm.
with the culture, right? So
Yes.
if we are stressed, it means that we can be what was the word? Well, we were already mentioned reactive, sort
Mm-hmm.
of fear-based, lacking empathy, but that whole sort of cycle of negative pressure
Mm-hmm. Right.
can create more negative pressure in the
Yes.
organization.
That is
So
true.
the
That is true.
whole thing becomes like it's contagion. So
Right.
instead of us working together to find solutions, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of working together,
Like,
but kind
like
of
we're
feel
pulled
more like
into that.
we're fighting,
Yes.
pulling and tugging.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
more like we're fighting to get to what
Mm-hmm.
we need, and we have to
Yeah.
fight, to push, and
Yeah.
it's a sort of it's a draining
It's
cycle.
exhausting.
Yeah, it's a
I've been
draining.
there, Emily. I've been there, and I know it's not a nice feeling.
Yeah,
One of the lies that I have told myself before too is that, oh, I do my best work when I'm under the pressure. Because yes, you right down to the wire, you get it done. And when you're finished, you say, but had I had 15 more minutes, I'd have done so and so. I'd have dropped something else in it. You're doing a proposal and you're right down to the wire. And
yeah,
after you submit the proposal, you said, oh my goodness, I thought of so and so afterwards. Yes.
yeah,
We
you
keep telling
did great.
ourselves that lie that we do our best work when we're under pressure. So then
Yeah,
maybe that's one of the first things, we need to say to our leaders. Yeah, stop telling yourselves that lie that you
yeah,
do your best work when you're under pressure
yeah,
because you're less creative. Your
yeah.
creativity does not get that opportunity to shine.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where I was going to go next, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the if you look at the studies that the neuroscientists would have done, when it comes to when our brains are under stress,
Yes.
our executive functioning
Mm-hmm.
actually
It
reduces.
starts to shut. It starts to
Yeah,
shut down, right?
that's shut down. So
Yeah.
if we're not able to think clearly
Mm-hmm. Right.
and broadly on things, then again, we're not going to be making the best
That's
decisions.
it.
So naturally, when we are stressed,
Mm-hmm.
it's the worst time to be making
Yes.
big decisions.
Big
So the best
decisions.
thing to
That's so
do
true.
is actually take that moment, take that breath, take that
Yes.
find a way to sort of reduce the temperature
Mm-hmm.
in the internal temperature
Mm-hmm.
so that you can access that executive functioning and be able
Mm-hmm.
to think more clearly, come up with ideas creatively, new
Yes. Yes.
solutions, come up with innovation, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
because it shuts down, it completely
Yes.
shuts down. We get into this fear-based kind of reactive way of thinking,
That
and
is
it
true.
and it really doesn't
True.
it
Yeah.
really doesn't
You
to
know what also doesn't
help.
work well under pressure? Difficult conversations.
Well, of course,
Oh my
because you know,
goodness.
there's no empathy.
Yeah,
So
so
how
you
can we
spoke
have a
about the
difficult
decision making,
conversation?
right? So that's one big one. That's the decision making. But
Hmm.
difficult conversations, those become even more difficult and challenging when you're under pressure.
Yeah, because
So
you're
this is what
unable to
we really do
connect,
with our
you're
leaders.
unable to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to make your point,
Mm-hmm.
most likely, or or it just becomes more of
Yes.
a conflict, like an
Yes.
escalating conflict
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
de-escalating and getting the point across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
and
from my
more
own
likely to make
experience.
mistakes.
Of
So
course, without
more
a doubt.
likely, so now you have to clean up.
And then that puts more pressure on you. You
Puts
see the
more pressure.
cycle?
Yeah,
You see
you're
the
breaking.
cycle?
So you instead of building relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you're breaking the relationships. But these are
Mm-hmm.
the same relationships you're gonna
Yeah.
have to work with tomorrow. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to figure out how to clean this up so that you know you can have
And
a working
and that
relationship.
vicious cycle starts all over again.
And it can, yeah, it can really
Yes.
become a cycle. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So it's so important for leaders. So we gave them two good ones. That's the decision making when you're under pressure, and we
Hmm.
also spoke about the difficult conversations. You know what I've noticed, and this is from my own experience, is that the depth we lack the depth oftentimes when we're under pressure, because we default to speed, want to get it done quickly, but then oftentimes we don't get the depth.
Yeah, again, we're not thinking.
Yeah.
So again, that executive function. If we're not thinking deeply on something, we
Right.
won't have depth. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Well,
Yes, people.
Emily. Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's anyone that is listening to us that doesn't feel some kind of pressure.
Yeah.
The question is recognizing, I think, in terms of the takeaways,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that you are under pressure and
Yes.
recognizing when you are under pressure
Yes.
and deciding instead of rushing
Mm-hmm.
towards doing something, take a moment, take
Mm-hmm.
a breath.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Acknowledge.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge. Like you said last
Yes.
week or a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Weller, name,
Yes, you remember?
name
Mm-hmm.
it, to
Name
tame
it.
it, right? Admit to yourself that look, I'm feeling very stressed right now. I'm very, it's a lot, and I
Yes.
just need to take a breath and sort of determine what direction to go in
Mm-hmm.
before
Mm-hmm.
you do the knee jerk thing that you might
Yes.
have done that might cause you so much more problems and
Mm-hmm.
take up more time. And
Right.
you're already probably under time pressure. So it will take
Mm-hmm.
up more time to fix the issue, or
Yeah.
you end up taking over stuff and not delegating, taking it back, putting
Yes.
more pressure on yourself, whatever it is,
Controlling.
getting very controlling, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So recognize that I'm under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take a minute, name
Mm-hmm.
it, take a breath, and
Yes.
then sort of determine your next best steps. You know,
Mm-hmm.
try to give yourself chance to think it through,
Right.
and not feel like everything is going to fall down
That's true.
in this
That's
one
true.
second. Not
Yes.
every single thing is absolutely urgent. It can,
There
you
are
can
things that can
decide.
wait.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
decide what can wait, what cannot wait,
Yes.
and start to make adjustments like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
yourself and for your team.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. And folks, listen, your leaders, be aware of the culture that is being built in your, just think about your own department first.
Yes.
Think about that. And as you say, it can be contagious. So if you start building a different culture in your unit, in your department, you're gonna see the contagion that will happen across. So hopefully that's good for everyone this Monday. And we're hoping that, when you watch this and you take this away with you, you will speak to your colleagues about it, you'll speak to your employees about it, make it become part of something that, is in your space. So it doesn't feel alien to you.
Hmm. Yes.
Nice. Good.
All right. So, people, we will leave it at that.
I
If you
think so.
do feel pressure, or, well, as not that if you do, when you
Yeah.
do feel
When you
pressure,
do.
take stock, and please just send us a note in this one if you when you see it. If you come to the very end and let us know, yes, yes, I am one that feels the pressure.
Yes, yes.
And
We're going to see those who listen to the
take
end.
stock. Yeah, and I'm gonna take stock of this episode and try the tips that we mentioned. All right.
All right.
So we'll see
Take
you.
care. Have a
Bye
lovely week,
now.
everyone. Bye.